Good morning, everybody. Here we are again. Welcome to Star and Stone with me, Mervyn Kelly, and our Tracey Sivek, who I shall be bringing in right now. Good morning, Tracey. Are you there? And here she
I
is.
am now. Good
Hello.
morning.
Good
How are
morning, good
you?
morning, good morning. I am still perfection. So let me try and just get control of this computer here and go. There's Rob. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Rob.
How are you
Thank you for
today?
being at the show today.
Yes, this is a little bit of a departure for us today because we're going, well, I may start getting a bit sciency because we are going to be talking about alternate universes or alternate realities. The term seems to be a little bit interchangeable, but we all kind of got an idea what we mean. So, good morning, Robin. So, let us begin. And if any, I would like to invite everybody's ideas and thoughts and everything to join in with this one because it's quite mind-bending and trippy a lot of times. So please give us everybody's.
I did it again, and I'm not going to do it anymore for the rest of the show.
Yes, you will,
No, I
because you'll.
won't.
Yes, you will.
Good morning, everyone. I'm
Yes.
now present. Rob tucked himself away into a secret room.
I've done that too. So here we go. What does what do you know about alternative universes or realities, Tracey? What do you know?
Oh, thank you, Nellie, for letting me start this out.
Well, it was your idea.
Look at you. Yeah, do that little shake of the head. Oh yeah, I'm putting you out there first. Um, this came about for you and I, this subject, because we were talking about my addiction with ancient aliens, and that
That's
I
not a bad
had.
that's not a bad addiction to have, though, Eileen.
No, I absolutely adore that show, and now my son is addicted. And actually, there was one episode that really blew my mind. It opened me up to so much thought that I felt like a little kid in a candy store. It was like the ideas that they gave, it was a foundation for your mind to take over to the possibilities of what is out there and what we're capable of as far as multiple universes, multiple races, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
I know what you mean.
yeah. So I was just going through the process with you of talking about how excited that made me. And um, I said, well, what if this outer crust of the earth is just one layer? What if the inner core and the lava of the earth and that inner hot core is someone else's sun beneath us? What if there's multiple worlds within this earth?
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yes.
all of those possibilities, because they were talking about all of these ancient sites, doing that testing about taking it back to where it was, when it was built, when it was created, and they took it back to some of them back all the way back to when there would have been cavemen here. Well, they didn't
Hmm.
have the ability then. So to me, it was like this earth that we see as just being ours, since, we've got this box of this is where we started and this is where we are today, and that's it. Well, it's not. I mean, if they're actually dating back, it's crazy. It's like we're unearthing layers and layers of histories and universes, and it's just fun. I love it.
Yeah, me too. And Rob's talking about Heisenberg there. Heisenberg's theory of indeterminacy, which is a fun one. But
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to start off with some sciencey stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna get ready to take a nap. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Because I've been looking at this a lot over the
Mm-hmm.
recently, preparing for this, and it is
Mm-hmm.
really mind-bendy, trippy stuff, and some of the terminology is hard to get my head around.
Mm-hmm.
So I've broken it down into pretty much as best as I can understand it. So, dear physicists, I'm really sorry for messing all your work up, but you'll have to cope with it. So, um, recently, over the past few years, there's been a lot of TV and movies that have been using, um, yeah, all right, Rob, whatever. I know what I meant. I meant Schrodinger. I got it wrong. It was Schrodinger. Anyway, yes, I know, but you know what I mean. Anyway, that's by the by. So, a lot of movies, TV, and so on and so forth, using alternate realities as their basis of that show. But according to the current theories that involve alternate universes, there are 4 levels. The first one is, hang on, level 1. I've got notes. You'll have to. Oh, yeah, there it goes. The universe is infinitely big, and therefore everything happens somewhere, sometime, possibly multiple times. So we're not entirely talking about an alternate reality. We're talking about everything happening and keeping on happening. So then we have level 2, which follows the idea that when our universe was created, that somehow in all the science technical jargon, that other universes were created at the same time, somehow different. Then the next one, level 3, is what a lot of people have been using as the basis for their storylines, which is the many worlds interpretation. That there are multiple universes. Let's just go, there are multiple, an infinite number of Earths with an infinite number of possibilities, all happening within the same space, but the on a different wavelength, a different frequency, if you like, another dimension. So um, my science part is not perfect. It is, you just have to go with it. And if anybody wants to find out more, there's plenty of incomprehensible stuff out there on the Tinterweb, just so as you know. So that, anyway, back to my point was that, and the way they describe it is that everything is ultimately possible in some way. So you get up in the morning, you get out the left side of the bed. Well, in another universe, you get up out the right side. There's tiny little changes. I mean, not even, super small changes to super big changes. I mean, looking at that idea in one universe, I'm king of the universe. So just think about that for a moment. So that's the many worlds interpretation. But then the last one is the one that isn't is more radical than the others, which is just simply states, as I understand it, that any universe that the physicists can work out on a piece of paper is possible. So it could be so mathematically different in the way it works to ours, Yes, Rob. Yes, you had. And don't point out my mistakes where I mix up Heisenberg and Schrodinger. So be warned. um, so there's several different ones, but the one that most people are using as a storyline and an idea is the many worlds interpretation. And it's an interesting one to think about, and all very sciencey.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But so why are we talking sciencey stuff on a show that's based in a spiritual path? Or several, yours and mine, and everybody else's. Well, my interpretation is that we've known about alternate universes forever. We've always known they existed, that they're real things,
Mm-hmm.
because our ancestors knew about them. They're not using the same language as the scientists, but they knew of them in a different way, and they
Mm-hmm.
had a relationship with the beings that lived in those universes. There were, and still are, as I think of things,
Mm-hmm.
portals to these places, um, that we can pass through if we find them or if we can create them. So
Mm-hmm.
it's quite an interesting one to think about. But when you think about it in that way, that's why we're doing it today, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be fun. So, Rob, you've been very vocal about my mistakes. So, what's your thoughts? So, come on. Anyway,
Well,
um,
one thing that I was thinking about too is how we have all these realms that we tap into as people that are sensitive, that see. And there's the fairy realm, there's the mythology portion, there's so much there. You list them all, they're all there,
mm,
they're all out there.
mm,
And people always say, how can you really believe? And I'm like, how can you not? it's it's a part of who we are. It's a mix of who we are today. And you can see that with so many people that are becoming enlightened and awakening to that science, that spirit, combining the two and moving through an uncertain world right now, but with faith and hope.
yeah,
And it's because we're able to tap in to that belief system that we've experienced before, and we know what's out there for our future. We've been there, we've done it, we're doing it again. And as gloom and doom is just some people want to be about that, this is really, life is exciting every dang day. It's a gift, and we're here
yeah,
for a reason. We're here to move forward, to expand our souls, to expand so many of our, lifting them up, lifting ourselves up and out as with humanity, as humanity. It's like, I don't know, it's exciting times. I
it
know
is.
that on a spiritual level, with what I do is connect to all those realms without, they say, well, seeing is believing. Well, I see in a different way. I connect to uh, one of my masters is Master Theron, and he's up there. He's always as my star guide, and he's amazing. And he's there, and I used to think it stopped and started there, but it
Mm-hmm.
actually goes beyond that, because then there's his masters and his masters. This is just it's a ripple effect of alternate universes and in realities. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's where
Um,
I get my information from, and that's where I'm protected from, and that's how I live, is within those, that idea that the information we're getting for people here is coming from those divine spaces.
Yeah. And in answer to Rob's question, yes. So, but yeah, and that's really one of the main points that we both want to bring across today is that those universes do exist and we can communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be. I was going to say be allowed to communicate them, but it's more fundamental than that. Is we must allow ourselves to communicate with them. It, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the permission really comes from. Is from ourselves to be able to see and be able to hear
Mm-hmm.
everything. Go back to our ancestors. They all knew these places. They they knew their names. The plate name. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I lost control of my mouth. Then they knew the names of those places. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the quickest, easiest one, heaven. That's
Mm-hmm.
another. You could and liken that to another universe,
Mm-hmm.
another reality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Christian faith and probably others state that when we pass from this life, that's where we go.
Right.
Um, then there's in the Celtic times, it was the other world. There was I mean the on the Irish Tir na Nog, the place that of the eternal life,
Right.
and people could move back and forth between these places under certain rules, obviously, but they were allowed,
Mm-hmm.
and so yes, it's we were science is becoming more aligned. And they really don't like it when we say this kind of stuff, but they're becoming more aligned with our way of thinking, that all this magical and mystical stuff is actually real. The scientists need to prove and give examples of something, whereas we kind of don't. We just know it's there. We don't. Some of us are lucky and we can communicate like you. Some of us don't, but that doesn't matter. We still know it's there. And even if we don't feel like we're communicating with that side, wherever that side may be, it's just a lot of times that side is communicating with us, giving us some guidance, gives us a nudge in the right direction. Sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. Um, so it's always there, it's always here, and we don't necessarily have to find a portal to find a way through it, or to it, or hear from it. It
Mm-hmm.
it can find us whenever it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Rob's
It's
just
kind of funny because I have to say that because it came right in, it's like they said, well, maybe we're just now aligning to their way of thought.
mm, yeah, exactly.
And
Or
they won't let it go, so I have to say it.
yeah,
I mean, but it's all good, but it was just funny, like, well, or, you know, so.
okay. Here's Rob again. Sci-fi author Robert somebody or another. Where's he gone?
It's right there.
Uh, yeah, no, you can see it, but I can't
Oh.
now. I'm pressing the wrong button. Anton Wilson made the observation that every scientific law, now known as a paradigm, cognates
Mm-hmm.
with the religious faith of the scientist. True.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, each one was able to back the observation with experimental data. Indeed, indeed. So, yeah, there's a lot to be said for that, but we don't need. I, I would always only ever speak um, personally. I don't need to back up my observations or my ideas or thoughts. I know when I'm talking of another world, I know that other world is there. I can't prove it. I can't prove it to you. I just need to know it for myself so that whatever knowledge and wisdom comes through from there, I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to pass that forward. Um, None of us keep it for ourselves. We're always trying to throw it back out into the world, um, to the benefit of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's where the difference for us, a scientist and a believer
Mm-hmm.
is the difference. We don't need to prove it. Um, and I just wonder whether I'd want to prove it because sometimes when you have proof, it takes away some of the magic. And I like magic, you know. It's I like things to be magical. I like things to be mysterious. I don't need all the answers. I like to be just guided.
Well, part of this too is I like the thought of that they put out there for people, is that not only could Earth inhabit a world within worlds, it's that ripple effect that the moon, could be the very same thing, and that we're always moving that energy up and out, and that was a pretty exciting thought, to know that beneath our feet, that energy that we feel, is that grounding is actually us tapping in to the new, the
Mm,
birth, the
yeah,
constant renewal, not just of Mother Earth, but actually other little mini universes within a universe. And it's
yeah,
just exciting because we always say, you know, the stars above. What if there were stars below our feet? What,
exactly.
there's so many. I love the questions that come along with this, because really there's they would never stop. I mean, it's
Mm,
endless. The
it
possibilities
is.
are endless.
Yeah,
And I think that getting to that core idea, that thought that we are everything in this moment right now. We are the above, the below, the every direction. We are the air, the sun. We're everything connected at this moment in time,
yeah,
and a part of an evolution that I don't know if we'll ever understand. I don't know if we ever could, until we move beyond this reality and move forward in our spiritual growth, our
yeah.
vibrational growth. So it's all exciting to me. I know that um, when I journeyed once, they took me to the Sphinx, and there was a long hallway, and there was a protected doorway, and when they opened it up, there were, and this was underneath the foot of the Sphinx, and there were hundreds of thousands of alabaster jars.
Hmm.
Some held the remains of people, some held written word, history, and it just felt like, well, I want to go down there and get in it, but it just, that kind of thing, you believe in it. You need to believe in it, because why not? It's
Mm,
not harming anyone. It's not doing anything against anyone. And it's all, you may not be able to touch it or see it with your eyes, but knowing that that kind of thing exists is part of that magic.
absolutely. And that is a really interesting comment from Rob. Defining reality is magical, yet we allow it to be done to us. And it kind of leads on to another idea that is, I mean, Dana talk says this a lot. I mean, I'm sure she says it on every show. Um, Thought creates reality. We create our own reality with our own thoughts, or we can do if we're conscious enough about it. Um, but a lot of the time, and Rob's right there, that we allow other people's reality to encroach on our own.
Mm-hmm.
In lots of ways. So yeah, we should be more conscious of our thoughts, um, and our own reality, and what
Mm-hmm.
kind of a reality that we're making.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a really interesting one. Thank you, Rob. So, but yeah, and so there's, I mean, we can talk around and around the whole subject for hours and hours and days and weeks, and you know we could never get to the end of it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what really makes this an interesting one. um there's Rob again. I'm not just another pretty face. No, I'm the pretty face. I'm king of the universe, remember.
Thank you, Janice. That's important too, what you had said about
Hmm.
you expect miracles. You deserve that. That's what you're projecting. I mean, that's our belief system, and we believe in things we can't see, we can't touch, because that's who we are. I mean, and good morning, Denise. And that's what makes things easier for me, is that in times of trouble, I have been struggling lately with this nasty little voice in my head that is just, boy, her and I are, um, we're butting heads. So
Hmm.
part of that is just going, Tracey, okay, but you're human. You're here for the human experience. But where the conflict comes in is that enormous spiritual side of you says, really? Really?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to need to move through that. We're not going to jump over it. We're not going to just kind of shove it off to the side. What's behind that little voice? And that's part of my sole purpose of learning and experiencing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not little Miss Kumbaya up in the air head all the time. It's like, I know that as on a human level, we're not going to love everybody. We're not going to see everybody as, oh, my buddy, and let's go have coffee. There are challenges and differences in people's opinions and thoughts for a reason, to stimulate us. Well, I have been stimulated, and I need to learn to move beyond that. You're weird. God. Thanks a lot for that one.
You're
Anyways,
welcome.
so
Should I do? I'll do it again.
no. Anyways, so yeah, it's just like we forget that, it's okay to be us. It's okay to be us today. It's okay exactly. It's not for the faint of heart. It's this little girl and I, that she just comes in with some of these damnedest little things, and I'll be looking at her like, really,
Hmm.
really, we're
Hmm.
gonna go there today again? Well, I thought I dealt with that last week.
Yes, I believe
And
I've had quite a lot of those over the last couple of years.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that is part of that what we're talking about today, because on some level, somewhere, maybe her and I are working on something together in a different way, parallel universes. It's like it's all good. It's all good. Our worst of times are our best of times. And I know that that's a weird thing to say, but it's like in my classes, I teach that we're all the lotus flower and we get our nutrients from the mucky bottom of the pond. That's where we get fed to be able to blossom and to grow and to bloom into that beauty. It's about dealing with that murky bottom.
Exactly. And you never know. You can't be taught what you can do until it's demonstrated what you can do, what you can deal with, and so on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you're going through a difficult time, that teaches you more of who you are than when you're going through a good time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we need to. We have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of what the world, the universe is showing us, that we can do what we have to do when we have to do it. That doesn't make a lot of sense. We're given the challenges that we need to grow. Without those challenges, we'll just not. We don't grow. We don't learn.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Right.
we don't grow and we don't learn, we cannot help others to grow and learn in their own way with what they need.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we have to the best of times is the worst of times is the best of times. I mean, it's pretty much says it all in that one little
Mm-hmm.
statement. It doesn't come
Mm-hmm.
right out and say it, which is the best way because it makes you think about what you've just said.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so, but yeah, and uh, it's mind-boggling. My mind is boggled.
Yeah. Yeah. It usually is.
Thank
That's payback. So
you.
I just would be interested in how others feel, if they have thought about what we are here on Earth, if there's that possibility of other worlds within this world, and where I love this. I love learning about this, and it just it amazes me, everyone's ideas and thoughts, and that's why I think I get so excited with learning about all of this, and it expands your mind into different thoughts and realities, and I just get excited. And I
Yeah.
think it does touch base on that inner core, that little place that we sometimes forget about, that little universe, divine place that's just full of every single place that we've ever been.
Hmm.
A little speck of dust within a ball that makes us who we are. It's like all of those places still do exist within us, and not all of them are ugly. Not all of them need to be removed, and this and this and that. We're who we are today for that reason. We're to be who we are for other people, to show things and people who we are. So I get distracted with all these little words coming up.
Yeah.
Make sure
I've
that
I've heard about that show, Stranger Things, but that's on Netflix. I don't have Netflix, so I can't watch
I'll
it.
have to check that out.
It's supposed
There's
to
a
be
new one
really, really
called
good.
there's a new one out called New Earth. Excuse me.
That's a cat.
Um, that's Peachka. She
That
loves me.
she's making a comment of what I'm talking about.
She's my baby. Thank you, Denise. In some days it's not easy. I mean, sometimes you have to put yourself aside and just you have to get up and be the spirit and not be that little curmudgeon. human being that
Absolutely.
just doesn't want to move and wants to just say, my knee hurts today, I can't do anything, or, oh, my heart pitter-pattered yesterday. There's so much that can hold us back from who we are, but it's up to us to change all of that. It's up to us to trust in healing. It's up to us to tap in to all that's divine.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a choice. We can choose to. What's going on?
Somebody's on my porch, but it's okay. It just
Okay.
scared me.
Okay. Who's on the porch?
I don't know.
Is it another you? Come
It's another
from.
me shoveling. Thank God. I love that part of me that goes and shovels when I'm in here. We are so weird. I don't know. How do you guys love us? But you and I had talked about placing in part of the show here a prayer. When did you want to do that? Because I think that ties in our thoughts. Did you want to do that at the end?
I was going to, yes. Yeah.
Well, then I just messed that up, didn't I?
Well, no, you've announced it, and everybody's going to be excited to hear it now.
Okay.
That's how I'm taking it.
But I just I like the idea of staying open to all the possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There.
I mean, I mean that's one of the key things to being on any spiritual path. Whatever flavor it may be is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
The point is you're on it, but not to close yourself off to new ideas.
Right. Right.
Because when you do that, terrible things can happen, as history's shown us.
Mm-hmm.
But it also stunts your growth in a way, because
Mm-hmm.
if you choose to be closed minded to everything and all the possibilities, then you just miss out on so much.
Right.
So much that we can. I mean, we talked about traditions last month, and I was saying that it's okay to use somebody else's traditions that speak to you on your own path, because as long as you're respectful to it and
Mm-hmm.
respectful to the people and culture whose tradition it is, then it can teach you what part of your own culture can't.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Right.
and it's it creates new and further ideas, and new ways of seeing, new ways of hearing.
Yeah.
So we have to be open. Being open is just the most awesome thing to be.
Exactly. I've lost a lot of family members and friends because of my belief systems and kind of coming outside of the box and letting everybody know who I am and what I'm about. My mother always knew, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She always knew. And we didn't have to talk about it. It was just a knowing that both of us had until later in life when we had open discussion. But when I was little, it was just an unsaid okay. And it's because she had that too. But I've lost a lot of people to the way I believe. They're like, well, what about God and Jesus? What about, the Bible and all this and that? And of course, I've never seen Jesus at the grocery store. Well, I probably have. But let me just work through this. It's like, I believe in Jesus. I believe in God, but not in a box that someone created for me.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they are everything. I believe in Buddha. I believe in all of these beautiful, gracious energies. I believe in all of that, and it doesn't have to be put in a box for me to believe it.
No.
Why can't I believe that God is universe, that universe is multiple, that Jesus is a human being that loved us all, that loves us still. I can believe in Mother Mary and her gracious healing and her essence. I can believe in traditions, all of love and light. I mean, all of this is a part of who we are. And it's really sad to me that I've lost some of those people because they just can't look beyond that box. They can't jump out and peek over the edge and just see that maybe we're not scary people, that we're coming from a place of wanting to grow and know more about God energy, universal energy, goddess God energy, that we're all good peeps.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, they choose to close themselves off to it, and that's their choice. I, from my point of view, my perspective, I would respect somebody's choice. If that's your choice to do that, then I wouldn't argue. However, I would still say that I'm still here should you want to come and visit and wish to know further, wish to know more.
I haven't stopped loving them for being in the box. Part of that Christ energy is about love, and it's funny to me that they've limited that. So, good morning, Margaret.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're all here and we're all wanting to stretch our wings, so to speak. Because in one of those universes, I am king of the universe and have wings. But so we're all trying to stretch our wings, stretch our knowledge, and we're not doing it for ourselves. We are doing it for everybody and the world, you know. And that sounds a little egotistical, but it's not meant to.
Well, I think you mean it in a way that we all have that within us. Each and every one of us has that kind of graceful power.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It is
graceful power.
We're doing it in a graceful way. You know, we're not doing it for personal gain.
Right.
We're
Good morning, Jocelyn.
Because that's what we do. And that's it. That's as far, that's what we do.
Exactly.
So, yes, everybody, keep on doing it. Keep on being unboxed. Because the fewer boxes we have in the world, the better the world's going to ultimately be. And the sooner we'll get to that point.
Right. And believe in your divine purpose, because we get so caught up in the things pulling us down, and it's like we give our energies to that because it's so sometimes exhausting. Tap into that divine part of who you are, that energetic, healed, full person, and let it emanate out to your body, through the bad knees, through the hips, through the heart problems, through the lungs. Granted, we're here for human experience, and part of that, it is unfortunately human dysfunction. What? Our weirdness is wonderful.
Wonderful, yeah.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't want people to give up hope. I see we struggle, some of us struggle every day with some physical ailments, mental ailments, emotional. We feel alone, detached. Just take a deep breath in and know you are never alone. You're never detached. Every physical ailment can be totally loved and not hated. Love it. Love that part. Push through it. Whether or not it's meant to catch your attention for a reason. There is that physical part of who we are. We do have ailments, but on an emotional level, don't buy into it all the time. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Bust through it. Bust
Yeah,
through bust
don't.
through the tough days with love and not anguish that you're alone on this earth and you're suffering alone. You're not. This is like around earth. So one of my favorite parts to do is the grid work, cleansing the grid and sending love, and light and healing through that grid to just sprinkle little stardusty things down to each and every one of us and have that enhance our lives.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
And I'm
that's
not
what we're all
I'm
trying to
not a
do.
fairy on crack, so don't laugh at me.
No, I know you're not.
I know I get up there with that, but
Fairies don't do crack,
well, they have fairy dust that they
which is
do.
not
So
crack. It's
no.
fairy dust. It's different, completely different.
Okay, Mervyn.
Yeah, I mean, and there was one other little thing I wanted to talk about. Um, I was going to do it earlier, but we kind of sidetracked a bit. Um, when I was saying about our ancestors, and they knew these people and the places, and they had names for them.
Hmm.
I started with heaven and Tir and Nog, the fairy realm you mentioned, and the spirit realm, of which there are others, but the one that really kind of demonstrates it for me is the Norse mythology, Yggdrasil, the world's tree, um, and the nine realms. We have Asgard and Midgard and the others, which I'm not going to try and pronounce, apart from Jotunheim and Vanaheim. There's and the fact that Asgard and Midgard being the Earth realm, um, was connected with the Rainbow Bridge, which was
Hmm.
created from fire, air, and water. And they say that behind every rainbow, that bridge is present. That's one of the things that I really, really, liked, that these worlds are connected. They're not, and the way it's described, it feels to me like all those different realms on that world's tree
Hmm.
are alternate universes, because the
Exactly.
people that inhabit the worlds that are spoken about are all completely different. Asgard and Vanaheim, those two realms are inhabited by the gods, two different tribal gods, the Aesir and the Vanir. Midgard is um, inhabited by humans. The um, Jotunheim is inhabited by giants, um, and so on and so forth. Alfheim is inhabited by the light elves. So there's all these different worlds are all connected, but they're all
Hmm.
different. So you can consider them as alternate realities.
Right. Right.
So our ancestors knew of it
Hmm.
and would speak with the people that lived there. And
Right.
that's we it gives a, rather than an ancient aliens um, perspective, as in they're all extraterrestrials, ETs with technology,
Hmm.
super advanced technology. I see them in the same way as our ancestors saw them, as magical beings
Hmm.
with magical knowledge that can help and assist us to grow further into the in spirit. So I think I've just lost my train of thought.
That's because you just burped while we were doing a show.
No, I didn't.
You did an inner burp.
No,
But
I didn't. Because I don't
while
do
you're
those. I do outer ones, and everybody would hear that.
well
But
while you're
as I'm
processing
king, as I'm king of the universe, I can do that.
okay, but while you're processing that, I want to tell you about an image that came in. So you process
Okay.
your burp. But while you were saying that about the behind every rainbow there's a bridge, then in my mind's eye, all of a sudden I'm seeing this magical tree and all of the vibrant energy flowing through it, the veins of the tree, the branches, the leaves and the seed, and each and every one of those things are a universe within a universe. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
see, I get so excited about
It
that.
is. It
It is.
certainly
It's like
is.
every single thing, every cell contains a universe. Your
Yeah.
burp contained a universe.
That's because I'm king of the universe. Remember, I told you that earlier.
Whatever. I know. Blah, blah.
With wings.
Yes, you are.
So, I mean, that's just one of them. But the other thing, I mean, I was saying about portals.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
one of the one of the actions our ancestors used to do when they were offering gifts to the gods or their own ancestors, um, always, often, shall we say, involved giving that gift and passing it into water,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be lake, river, the sea, the oceans. They were always considered portals. Those were portals to the other world,
Mm-hmm.
and you could access them that way. Um, you know what? Yes, Rob. Yes, I am. um, traveling to islands, magical islands like Tiernanog and so on and so forth. Um, so the portals are still here. They've always been here, and they always will be. We just have to remember that they are there
Mm-hmm.
and learn how to use them. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying we're going to dive into I'm not saying you're going to dive into Lake Michigan and end up in another world, um, but you could use Lake Michigan to access that other world on a spiritual level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another exciting thing for me personally. That's
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of us are drawn to water in
Mm-hmm.
in ways that we don't really understand. We just know we feel good around it. We know we feel attracted to it. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, one of the reasons why. Because we know there's a connection to those other worlds there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a story, a Welsh story. How much time have we got left? 7 minutes. I won't. I'll post I'll post the name and everybody can, or I'll post a link to the store. Hello. Yeah, she's making a comment on me again. I can tell.
She loves me.
How could she not?
Don't you, baby? Okay.
Um, yeah. Okay. Let me try and pronounce this, and I apologise to all Welsh speakers because of my dreadful pronunciation. Uh, Llyn Fach. Um, it's a lake near the in the Brecon Beacons, and there's a great story that again connects with the show about an alternate universe or an alternate world being accessed through this lake where but I'll post a story because it's a really really cool one and everybody will like it. Oh, that's an interesting one, Cherry. In many ways we have become the portals that we seek. Indeed.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Yes, that's a very
Mm-hmm.
interesting way of looking at it.
when you just allow, when you get to a point where you can just allow that to happen, to that awareness to take place. Yeah, yeah. And Nikki, you're absolutely right there too. And I was going to say to Nellie that every time I do get into Lake Michigan, that first, it's like it washes through you. It's not just getting into the water, and this is not just Lake Michigan, wherever we are. I think that it washes through us. It's not just, it's about being birthed every single time. I've always said that. I always say that first swim of the season, that cold, fresh water, you get in and you feel rebirthed, it's just a
Yeah.
beautiful, it's like it feeds you. And it does all year round, but it's just, I'm dramatic and I like to have those things in my head that I'm rebirthed every single season, that first jump into the water.
And
Yeah.
again, there's the Christian baptism. Again, we're
Mhm.
using water.
Mhm.
It's used in sacred ceremony all the time.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, water is life.
Yeah.
We're made up of. I can't even remember what the percentage is, but it's a large percentage of it is water.
Mhm.
So it's all in there. So
Exactly.
it's only natural that we're drawn to it in that way. But us, from that mystical perspective, it's definitely there.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'll do the prayer now.
All right.
So I was going to write this ages ago. I'm normally try and do it. Where's it gone? It's
Well, I'm
this.
going to ask that everybody take
There it is.
some cleansing breaths and to close your eyes and take in these words. These are really beautiful.
So I wrote this morning. It was a bit of a rush, so please forgive me. So, Mother Goddess, humbly we call to you. We ask for your blessings upon our sight, that we may see the worlds beyond. We ask for your blessing upon our voices, that we may talk with the beings who live there. We ask for your blessings upon our hearts, that we may receive the gifts of knowledge and wisdom they have to give us. We ask for your blessing upon our lives, that we may carry that knowledge and wisdom, so we may pass it on to all who may need it, for the highest and greatest good of all, and our Mother the Earth. A blessing on our lives, a blessing on the land, a blessing on the sky, a blessing on the waters.
Perfect. Thank you. Will you post that for everyone today?
Yes, yes, I will.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Right, I can put my notebook down now. Anyway, so
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the show
I do.
because
Don't you
it's
have something
exciting.
to surprise people with? That's a very pretty locket necklace you have there.
This is a
Yes.
necklace from, actually, it contains little crystals and some holy water from Glastonbury at the Chalice Well, where Joseph was said to have buried the chalice. And if you would like to receive one, I told Nellie I can finally do something myself without involving him. Place your name under Start a Stone. If you would like, I'll pick one name and I'll send this out to you. It'll be full of the Chalice Well water and some intuitive gems, intuitive for you. How does that sound? So, see, Nellie, I do things too. I don't involve you all the time, Mister. You need to make a corn dolly.
Yes,
Are
yes.
you? I know.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
she's on today, so she's probably patiently waiting. So,
I'll make it
thank
soon.
you. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate that.
Anyway, it's time for Dana. So we will both say
Talk
thank.
about universe. Let's talk
Yeah,
about Dana.
yeah. Well, she's starting up right now. So
Alrighty.
we will say thank you for joining us, and we will be seeing you next month.
Yes. Peace and good things. Mwah.
Blessings to everybody. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.